yeah. Oh, yeah. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Yeah, yeah, yeah. God is my source, God is my power, God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Here we go. God gives me everything I need. God gives me everything I need.
How's that? Better. Okay. How we doing? Reverend Mike McMorrow here. I'm the spiritual director here at the Center for Spiritual Living, and I'm looking at two cameras right now, and I'm so confused. All right, but I'm supposed to smile at that one still. Okay, very good. So I'm joined here by our assistant minister, the lovely Reverend Nancy Woods, and with Ken Francis, our music director, and Eden, and I'll let him take care of the introductions later. For now, we're going to take a deep, conscious breath together and release. And in that release, allow ourselves to surrender to this eternal now moment as we come together for our call to service, which we call lighting the flames of faith. And we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples, all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. Now, fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience, which we honor here this morning. So as we light the first candle, as Reverend Nancy lights the first candle, it is for the Tao, honoring the universal path of harmony and equilibrium, the natural way. We light the second candle for shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples, the way of primal spirituality. Of love. The seventh candle we light for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the universalistic religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. The ninth candle we light for all forms of new thought, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of universal spiritual principles. The 10th candle we light for all those who are as yet unaware of the power and presence of Spirit in their lives, and for the space we hold for them here at our center, within our online community, and within our own hearts. And as Reverend Nancy lights the healing candle, please put silently into the light the names of anyone you wish to have experience the healing flame of God's eternal love.
There is warmth flame that burns in our hearts. There is one light that shines through our love. We light this flame with faith. We find this light within our own soul. There is one flame, one light within.
As we recognize this light within, we are recognizing and embracing the idea that that infinite presence that created all things is that which created life in and through all of us. As we step into this belief in a conscious way, we step into understanding and knowing that the infinite intelligence is always given to us by giving through us. And that blessing comes forth in this hour that we spend together in every aspect, and whether it's in the music and the message that is delivered, the greetings, whatever is happening and unfolding in this hour is a divine event that awakens and expands the infinite presence, expression of life in its love, its joy, and its peace. Knowing that all of this is what we are here for and what we are about is calls for a celebration of awareness, celebrating the idea and understanding that the love of the universe has guided and directed us all into this experience. And so we step into it with ease and grace and know that every step, every note, everything flows with ease. For this and this divine opportunity, I say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And in this consciousness of true appreciation, I accept and enfold and embrace the idea of the law of the universe and yes to the word that has been spoken. So, I know this, and I know that I welcome each and every person in the audience to join me in knowing it too, as we say together, and so it is. So, this has been a wonderful week for me. It's been a week of celebration because I realize more than ever that this past year has been one in which we were nurturing ourselves in one way or another, and sometimes we didn't even know we were nurturing ourselves. And I think it came out because I had the experience of seeing a lot of people this week in person. And the joy in my heart and the appreciation of that experience told me that the heart does go fonder. So this was really a divine opportunity to appreciate spirit itself. But one of the things that I wanted to share with you today is that I've been immersed in these different philosophical teachers that seem to all be pointing at the same thing. And what they seem to be pointing at for me right now is that a true recognition that all is consciousness, and that this consciousness that we are experiencing is the consciousness of God. And so, and it's to the extent that we can acknowledge that and embrace that idea, that it unfolds and expressed as that divine presence. And as we do this and allow it to unfold, in us and through us and as us, what manifests is a result of what I call a divine alignment. But on top of that, one of the things that came out of most of these readings was about the consciousness is that stepping into the awareness that we don't have to earn this. You don't, and it doesn't matter what we did up until this moment. It's the acknowledgement of the consciousness that counts. The physicalities of the different experiences that have unfolded in our lives lose their reality once this, as to the extent that we embrace this idea. And it loses it in the sense of any conflict or contradiction that we may have been entertaining in our consciousness. So we can let go of any judgment. We can let go of any self-recrimination or any kind of concept what takes us away from accepting and embracing life. Because we know that once the consciousness of spirit is embraced, once the idea and understanding that spirit is truly all that there is, that which seemed unlike it falls away. And it only stays as long as we keep looking at it or trying to get rid of it or embracing it or stepping into the judgment. Because we are, all of us, are totally complete within ourselves in such a grand and wondrous ways. We are the wonder and the greatness of the universe, finding its way into expression of life on this plane. And it just seems so rich and freeing. Because I think that, but I don't know, personally, I think I'm my own worst critic. If I could, and that was one of the things I needed to get off of my case. I need to embrace the idea. And it said, to the extent that I embrace the idea would be to the extent that I would be able to reach out and embrace other people. So since that's my whole focus is experiencing the loving universe, I said, okay, let's start at home. Let's start embracing and loving ourselves. And it's almost like I'm on a new journey. I think about that and I have to laugh because at my age, it's like, is this really a new journey or is it just an awakened journey? But it seems like a new journey for me. And I appreciate this philosophy, this understanding, this awareness, and this community, whether they're online or not. Yesterday I found out how real it was. It's a wonderful community to be in, and it's a community of love. And I appreciate that idea of being a part of it. And thank you for letting me share that.
Good morning, everybody. Nice to see you. Nice to have Reverend Mike back. So that's wonderful. Jason is on vacation. He's in Connecticut with Lily, so I hope they're having a wonderful time. And I'm very happy that Miss Eden Livinggood could come this Sunday. So it makes it sound a lot better. So here we go. Agreed with which we have agreed, and you think you have to want more than you need. Until you have it all, you won't be free. Society, you're crazy breed. I hope you're not lonely without me. Society, crazy indeed. I got everything inside of me. When you want more than you have, you think you need. And when you think more than you want, your thoughts begin to bleed. I think I need to find a bigger place. 'Cause when you have more than you think, you need more space. Society, you're crazy breed. I hope you're not lonely without me. Society, it's crazy indeed, but I got everything inside of me. There are those thinking more or less, less is more. But if less is more, then why are we keeping score? Means for every point they make, your level drops. Now why would you do this to your own thoughts? And tell me, why would you do this to your own thoughts? Society, it's crazy indeed. I got everything inside of me. Society, have mercy on me. I hope you're not angry if I disagree, 'cause I am free. Yes, I am free. I am free. If I choose to be, we are free. We are free. We are free. If we choose to be. Thank you.
That was a beautiful song.
It's Eddie Vedder. Yeah.
Wow.
Not too old, no.
Beautiful, just beautiful. Thank you, thank you. So, would you join me in saying the declarations of principles? We believe in one universal spirit, manifesting through all, natural and incarnated in us. We believe in the universal spirit is personal too, and reveals itself through everyone who recognizes its presence. We believe our faith operates upon a law of mind, which automatically manifests in our experience according to that faith. We believe in the unity of all life, the immortality of the individual soul forever expanded. We believe in the eternal goodness, the eternal loving kindness, and the givingness of life to all.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and who I am, and all I do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world. I am the heart, I am the hands, I am the voice of spirit on earth, and who I am, and all I do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. We are the heart, we are the hands, we are the voice of spirit on earth, and who we are, and all we do is a blessing to the world, is a blessing to the world, is a blessing to the world, is a blessing to the world.
Very nice. So, welcome again. If you're just tuning in, my name is Reverend Michael McMorrow. I'm the senior minister here at the Center for Spiritual Living, and we welcome all who practice their beliefs in faith and love. And it's good to have you with us here on our Zoom community. Soon to be some form of in-person. We're still working that out, but it looks like it's going to happen soon. So stay tuned. And today's talk title, well, actually we have a whole new theme for the month. The theme for June now, in staying with this theme, cast by the Centers for Spiritual Living Global Vision team. For this month, it is the Soul's Call, and today we're going to be speaking to lean into the discomfort. But before we get into that, I wanted to share with you that we had a little gathering yesterday. We had a little picnic where we had a few people. And here you see Reverend Nancy. I've kind of put a couple of these pictures together, but it was over at Northridge Park. It was a lovely day, and you'll see some of our friends there. And of course, this is Ireland, but I wanted to put Mike under the rainbow. I almost made it. And this house behind him, I guess, was Clark Gable and Carol Lombard's at one time. So how do you like that? Yeah. So it was a lovely day. I think we're going to do it at least one more time just so that we can get together. And I think we'll do it regardless of how things unfold. It was just a nice time to kind of gather safely and to be outside. And so for those of our members who have not been able to take the vaccine for whatever the reason, some have legit health concerns and so forth, so we don't need to put any judgments on any of that stuff, but we can create safer spaces for us all to come together. So it's good to be home. It's good to be with all of you. And we had a good time last week, or yesterday rather. So let's keep an eye out to see how we're going to move further. And just quick shout out to Reverend Nancy and the crew and Ken, and was off last week. A couple more days than that, but I did not check email because it was a bit of a busman's holiday because I was working, but I did not check email. So if you've been expecting a response, just be patient with me because I'll be playing catch up this week. And speaking of catching, I did spend a couple days fishing. I caught a nice bass in Shasta Lake. And then I went up to Manzanita Lake in Lassen National Park, both of these places within 25 minutes of the town of Redding. And the lake, Manzanita Lake, was a catch and release lake with these monster trout, Ken. You wouldn't believe it. They're jumping all around us. They're Manzanita Lake in Lassen Park. And and I caught a beautiful rainbow that's kind of brown. So they're silver in the Eastern Sierra for whatever reason. This one was brown, and it had a bigger rainbow than you'd see in a pride parade. I mean, that thing was gorgeous, gorgeous fish, and it felt really good to release it. And I caught it on a Thomas buoyant lure, by the way, in case you're wondering. And I tried out my new fly fishing rig to no avail, but there you go. So, and the Center for Spiritual Living in Redding, I have to say, are wonderful hosts. So I also want to give a special thank you to, just in case she is watching, to Reverend Susan Miller-Bourne and her husband, Charlie. They put me up for a night, wonderful hospitality. And then my fishing guide, Kurt and Linda. Kurt took me out to Manzanita. This dude is like the consummate fly fisherman, ties all his own stuff, knows all the fancy knots. Poor guy. I felt bad for him. He's tying knots for me all day. So anyway, he was my and a great host, a real outdoorsman. It was a great day and a welcome break. So anytime you can get out on the lake is a good day. And then I also had a chance, many of you may remember David and Misty Morton. They were members here for some time. You may have been in foundations class with them. Nice family. And so they had moved to Santa Rosa. Now they're over in Redding. I got to say, they're doing really well. They made good use of this time in our sequestered state. And all of them extend their warm greetings and a standing invitation that if you're ever in the Redding area on a Sunday, maybe this summer, make sure you stop in and say hello. You won't be sorry. It's a beautiful grounds, meditation pavilion, nice junior church, landscape grounds. The center's really big. Anyway, so it's a beautiful place. And I got to share a message up there in front of people instead of a camera, which was interesting. About as many as we have on a Sunday, much bigger place, so everybody was spread out. And then I got to do a workshop and share my book with about 15 people, so it was great. I also got around to CSL Portland and saw Reverend Larry King. He's the minister there. I got over to the New Thought Center for Spiritual Living over in Lake Oswego and up to Unity in Portland, and our new proposed retreat and conference center in Veronia, Oregon. So this is you'll be seeing more about this in the coming weeks. It's an effort to raise money to buy our own camp, just about 30 minutes outside of Portland. It's a beautiful place, and we have a capital campaign nationally going on about all that. I also stopped in CSL Eugene, so I was making the tour, and I saw Linda Finley. You know Linda, Reverend Linda Finley. It was good to see all of them. So that's what I was up to, spreading the good word of Granada Hills, casting it through the Pacific Northwest, from Redding to Portland and the airport. I even left a couple of my books in the on the airplane in that little pouch where the barf bag is. So that way it'd be handy. All right, so now let's get down to the business today. To lean into the discomfort. Lean into the discomfort. And I think this is very appropriate as we are beginning to emerge out of this year and a half dealing with the pandemic, a time when we've all had to step up, really, and be willing to step back from our ordinary ways of life so that the most vulnerable among us could be kept safe. And that those who tend to them could get to and keep working. This will continue as we come together in spiritual community because our sanctuary is small. So we're going to be stepping back a little bit from our ordinary ways of doing things and step up to keep those who are most vulnerable among us safe. So collectively, this past year and a half, it's cost us a lot. It's cost us a lot as a people, as communities, as individuals, as a global community. It's cost a lot in time, in talent, and in treasure. And it is going to take some time to get it all sorted out and back to normal, whatever that was. Whatever normal, quote unquote, whatever that was. And so now we too are we are moving towards reopening our life. And with that reopening of our life, reopening our center goes hand in hand with that. And we're going to be figuring out how to do all of that and to make it work. So we'll get more direction on that this week. So stay tuned. It will probably be by reservation in the beginning, but it looks like the talk is that by the end of July, the whole thing will be opened up. So we're just going to move not from fear, but from a sense of caution, wanting to protect, as I say, the most vulnerable among us. So leaning into the discomfort is a perfect reminder for what it is, for what is needed now as we emerge out of this pandemic, to remain patient and not intolerant around the shutdown, around the social norms that we've been going through. And if we just need to stay with that discomfort just a while longer, so that we can do this thing properly. And so when we look over the past year, yes, those of us who've been fortunate to keep our jobs, that we have not had a disruption of income, that our lifestyle before the pandemic was manageable because we had more money than month for the most part. And yet there are still those who have experienced, even within our own community, a loss of income, certainly financial stability, a home life and a work life that have been kind of mashed together and severely disrupted, and yet still hopefully intact. Our kids have been having to figure this out too. They've been working around their own stuff from kid consciousness, right? So the good part about kid consciousness is that there's often within it a way to find spontaneity and play and joy. So hopefully those things have still made themselves, even within their own imaginations. Now they're going to, they're going to be working through this for another year or so. That our young adults are graduating from college and high school into a very uncertain economic situation. So imagine your first job is on Zoom, right? When most of us have had jobs where we've had some hand-holding, where the more senior people around us can kind of show us the ropes and even really teach us how to show up and be a worker among workers, right? So they have to figure out all this stuff in a new way. There's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of discomfort, sometimes pain and even suffering. Now, here's the thing about pain and suffering and discomfort. I have found in my years of living that this has been a far better motivator than some promise of tomorrow, of some pleasurable thing that may or may not be. So the promise of tomorrow has potentiality in it for sure, but it also is subject to speculation and sometimes has fantasy even within it. Yes? Right? Pain, on the other hand, is right now. Stick your hand on a hot stove and what? You're not considering the meaning of life. You're moving that hand away just as quickly as you can. So when you experience pain or discomfort, you want relief and you want it now. So pain can be a great motivator. In fact, I can't think of anything that I have ever let go of in my life that didn't have claw marks to it, that I was really attached to. And that's what made it so painful in the letting go. Now, this is part of the human condition. This is not something that we alone, as pandemic emergers, or even as modern humans having this life experience, even in the overflow of life in the United States, that this pain and discomfort still finds its way to us. It is part of the human condition. And philosophers and theologians have been considering such things for thousands of years. Really, early humans from the times we were living in the caves, right? To consider, what causes lightning? What pushes the wind? Where does the sun go? Where does it go? What is the nature of life? Why am I here? And who is the I of I? Why is life so painful? Why is there so much tragedy and suffering? Now, years ago, thousands of years ago, there appeared to be outside forces at work, and many people may still feel that that is what's going on. There are outside forces at work, and that these outside forces can be appealed to. Now, following this logic, humans developed thought systems as a coping strategy in a life that was difficult and full of discomfort and pain. And if we consider life from this perspective, we can see where there were notions of gods as as superhumans, moving chess pieces, if you will, messing with the lives of humans for their own entertainment, or even to work out their own aspects of superhuman, our own, shall we say, baser aspects of human life, such as envy and jealousy, that the gods had this stuff supersized, as we know from a lot of our Western mythology, actually from all mythology, but the ones we are most familiar with here in the West is Western mythology. So humans developed these systems of thought as strategies for explaining or even eliminating discomfort and pain from human life. If we can just figure out how to offer the right sacrifice, if we follow the divine moral code, the gods will be pleased and we shall prosper. And yet we found that even within the human condition, even when we did all of these things right, where we crossed the T's and dotted the I's, that still there was suffering and pain. Life still had pain and has pain in it. And of course, sometimes the system itself, meant to offer relief, perpetrates suffering. As Scott Peck wrote years ago, life is difficult. Now, 2,500 years ago, there was a fellow named Siddhartha Gautama who worked this out, sat under the Bodhi tree, pondered such things for years before that, and pointed out that it is our aversion or our tendency to run from things that are painful or attachment to things that we want, that this aversion and attachment in life, that this in fact is the root of all suffering. In other words, suffering is a part of life because all of life is impermanent. That life changes, life evolves. This is a basic tenet of Buddhist philosophy. And that we have, you and I have a part in its cessation or continuation. We have a part in this wheel of Dharma that has within it suffering. Because we are at choice, always. Now, this notion took millennia, really, to find its way to the West. It's not that it wasn't available, it just took a while to get into regular thought, because we had these judgments on things being pagan, which made them illegitimate, and then our regular thought system. So it took a millennia to find its way into the West, where our thought system revolved around mostly around a moral code, which when broken was an offense against the Creator, or really who, then exacted a just punishment for our sins as an offense against the Godhead or transgressions. But even in this system, some folks prospered while doing evil things. But what the heck is up with that? So each system has within it its paradox. For even within our committed devotions to the Godhead, even within a notion of offering our own suffering up for the suffering for the welfare of others. So for instance, as some Christian thought is that there's a waiting place before you get into heaven, where you have to like shine up your soul a little bit, right? That being purgatory. Right? That was something that I heard as a kid. Offer it up for the poor souls in purgatory. Well, this is a nice devotional practice, but there's no psychology into how to heal the thing that's causing the suffering itself. Right? Because at the end of the day, our thought creates our reality. And our perceptions are our reality. But it is an ancient contemplation, for even within the Hebrew Bible, there's this notion that there's suffering to life, but if we remain faithful, we will be richly blessed. So the story of Job illustrates this beautifully. But then we all know people who have lived, quote unquote, holy and chaste lives, who have lost children, have lost jobs, houses, their health. What about that? What do we do about all this stuff? And is there any benefit to it? And if there is, who benefits? Now, Ernest Holmes came along, and he had a little different take on things. So he looked at the teachings of Jesus through the eyes of Emerson and through his own perceptions. He looked at the teachings of the East through the eyes of Thomas Troward, who was a student of Hinduism and an English judge. So an imperialist British guy, right? Looking at the teachings from Hinduism, and he kind of mashed East and West together. Ernest Holmes was also a contemporary of Paramahansa Yogananda, Sri Aurobindo, and Joel Goldsmith. And these guys, you know, they would get together and chat. I mean, wouldn't that be fun to be in that room, right? And just to listen as they compared notes and just kind of hung out with each other. And in time, Ernest Holmes would say this about suffering, that the world is beginning to realize that it has learned all it should through suffering and pain. And that surely there can be no intelligence in the universe that wishes a person to be sick, to suffer pain, to be unhappy, or end in oblivion. In other words, he's appealing to the idea that the universe and the spirit is an expression of intelligence, among other things, and that it's just not intelligent to think that a supreme force is willing these things upon us as humans. So then from this perspective, then, he asks the question, what if God is good and only good? What if nature is a reflection of this intelligence? And if so, how is humanity then a reflection of this intelligence as well? How is man a reflection of the divine itself in the ways that express in this finite life, acknowledging that this notion of the divine is all-encompassing, is infinite in nature? And so from this reasoning, he says that we have shown then, so he establishes this in the beginning of the Science of Mind textbook, and then he comes to this conclusion that we have shown that a person's nature is the same as God's nature. That we should have no intellectual difficulty in realizing that an infinite intelligence could not make an automatic individuality. We're not robots. And this explains why we suffer. Why are we suffering? Because we are on a road, we are on this path of self-discovery. What is it that we are discovering about ourselves? Right? That we are an emanation of the divine. That all of life is an emanation of the thought of the Spirit in form, including all of us. And that we think, and because we think, and we can think about thinking, that this too, in some finite way, is an expression of that which is infinite. Now, these are pretty heady concepts. And also, similarly, in Buddhist teaching, the individual then, from the Science of Mind perspective, as in Buddhism, the individual has a part in their suffering. And that what we teach here is that, well, actually in Buddhism also, that the suffering then is the place then that we bring our attention and intention for change. And we do this by constructing an affirmation to the opposite of what it is that we are suffering with. So if we are suffering from a health diagnosis, we know that we are expressions of radiant good health. If we are experiencing a lack of negative cash flow within our life, that we affirm that it is temporary, that the truth of life is that we live in an overflow of good, that we are opening ourselves up to income from unexpected sources, that we're opening ourselves up to forms of revenue right now to address this situation, and that we are intuitively guided to the right and perfect decisions and have the power to step into them fully and completely and courageously, where we may feel the fear, but we step into it anyway, which is really what courage is. It's all based in reality, knowing that our life is an expression of the divine, and we are willingly stepping into the challenge of that. So as religious scientists, then, what does it mean when we still experience life as challenging or difficult? It's just that the pain or the discomfort points to the solution. Right? So in Buddhism, of course, the Buddha speaks to suffering as aversion and attachment being the root of all suffering. But the poet Jane Hirschfield actually says it's the word more accurately translates not as suffering, but rather, I just had it. I'll have to come back to it. I just had it. Sorry. I should not have thrown that little ad-libber in there. All right, so here we go. So following this line of reasoning within Holmes and also through Buddhism, then, a person's suffering is not God ordained, because he creates his own experience as he becomes individualized. By individuality is meant self-choice, volition, conscious mind, personified spirit, complete freedom, and a power to back up that freedom. So there's a power available to us that we cannot imagine a mechanical or unspontaneous individuality to be real and free. That individuality must be created in the image of perfection and let alone to make the great discovery to itself. And so if there is a value to suffering, then it would be to be broken open. To be broken open. To be broken open in a way to where we can experience our thought, our heart, and the combination of those two things expressing as the life of our wildest dreams. So let's take a breath on that. Call the musicians forward. And just to remember that there are not, so ultimately what we're being led to realize again is that there are not two powers, but one power. One power, one presence, one source, one life. That the Spirit is, among other things, it is life, light, love, peace, power, beauty, and joy. So as we emerge from this time, where the fields have lie fallow for some time, that spring has sprung, that we are calling forward that which has been lying within us, longing to seek its expression in this world of form and to see the light of day. So what we've learned in this last year and a half is that we are done with playing small, that we are now ready to step into life fully and completely, to say yes to life, to say yes to that next opportunity that has that sense of yesness in it. That we understand and know that the infinite power and presence of the divine is backing our play. That we surrender to it right now in this moment. We take a deep breath and release. And in that release, with gratitude and confidence, we allow it to be so. And so it is.
am no victim. I live with a vision, covered by the force of love, surrounded by the light above. I am no orphan, I'm not a poor man. This kingdom's now become my own, and with this love I've found my home. It's not just reviving, not simply restoring. Greater things have yet to come. Greater things have yet to come. He is my Father. I don't have to wonder if His plans for me are good, if He'll come through like He should. 'Cause He is provision and enough wisdom to usher in my brightest days, turn my mourning into praise. It's not just reviving, not simply restoring. Greater things have yet to come. Greater things have yet to come. Defined by all His promises, shaped by every word He said. I am no victim. I live with a vision, covered by the force of love, surrounded by the light above. I am no orphan, I'm not a poor man. The kingdom's now become my own. With this love I've found a home. It's not just reviving, not simply restoring. Greater things have yet to come. Greater things have yet to come.
Very nice. Thank you very much. Let's give it up at home. Give him some love in the chat. Give some love to the fiddler.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So, it's time to pay the fiddler. It's time for our chance to for our opportunity to practice generosity by means of the offering. And so we have many ways to do that. You can either go on the website, hit the donate button. It'll take you to the PayPal portal. And maybe you can advance that slide for me. If you get to your phone, So it'll look like that. If you slide to your phone, it will actually you have a donate button right on your landing page on your phone. That too will take you to the PayPal portal. You just just follow the prompts. By now you know how to do this. You can get on there through, on the icon is on our YouTube page there on the far right-hand side. It's been highlighted. And then, of course, through Facebook, it's pretty simple. You just hit that donate button and allow yourself to feel the discomfort of giving generously. And or you can continue to mail in your gifts through the mail. This is our address, or continue your practice of using bill pay. It's fast, easy, and convenient. And by the way, Jane Hirschfield said it's discontent is the word that translates better than suffering from the Buddhist perspective. Discontent. So for those of us who have much, that's a little different scene. Discontent. All right. So, but we're not discontented now. We're going to get to listen to an offering song as you make your gift selection.
Spirit gives through me, Spirit receives through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me, Spirit lives and breathes through me, Spirit gives through you, Spirit receives through you, Spirit lives and breathes through you. Spirit lives and breathes through you. Spirit gives through us. Spirit receives through us. Spirit lives and breathes through us. Spirit lives and breathes through us. Yeah.
Okay, so let's just take a moment longer, just taking a deep breath and releasing and surrendering to this moment as we recognize and know that the gifts presented here represent the gifts of all giving by the various avenues from which they are received here at our Center for Spiritual Living. That these gifts represent the giving consciousness, the generosity of the heart of the individual, and that we now as collective community, the heart of this spiritual community, accept these gifts with deep love and respect as we know together they go forth to heal, to prosper, and to bless. Not only the vision and mission of this center, this online effort, but also anyone who's connected to our center in any way. That we extend this blessing to our friends here in our community of Granada Hills, our city of Los Angeles, our state of California, our United States of America, all of its churches, temples, mosques, schools, universities, the people who attend them, the people who support them, that we know for our planet as well, that all of it is an emanation from the mind of the divine itself. And to the extent that we really know this to be so, we see it. We see it demonstrating in ways both great and small. This lifts our heart. We feel a sense of grace and power that propel us into ways of spiritual living that raise not only our own lives, but the lives of those around us. And that's a good thing. And together we acknowledge this by saying, and so it is. Amen. I just wanted to give another shout out and a thank you to Eden Living Good. So give her some love, everybody. Thank you, Ken, for the music. Mike Carlin and Evan in the back there taking care of the tech stuff. Yeah. And our lovely Reverend Nancy Woods, who is now going to pray us out. Good to be with you. We'll see you next week.
It is a beautiful day. And I know that this hour has been a wonderful experience of experience of the divine presence. It's been gentle. It has given us nuggets of awareness, nuggets to understand and appreciate who and what we are and how we can live from that place of knowing this truth. And as we go forth from this experience, we go forth to embrace the idea and understanding that each and every person in the sound of my voice is a divine experience of God's health and wholeness. And each and every one is the joy and the peace of life unfolding and expressing itself. And as I know the wondrous, prosperous experience of being provided for by the divine source of all that there is, we can lovingly express our own unique individuality creatively and beautifully. And so with these understandings and awareness that we have been blessed with, we have been given the understanding that the consciousness of who and what we are. And as Holmes says, we do have that choice to let go and step into our experiences with ease and grace and let go of that which may have taken us in a different direction. So with these understandings, we go forth from this experience saying thank you, we appreciate it, and we love the idea of sharing the infinite presence awareness with each and every one. So with love and joy and peace and harmony, we say so it is and so be it.
1, 2, 3, 2, 2, 3.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as the power, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. Let every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternal.